Ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge, massive Star Wars Episode 7 scoop. Holy shit.
Xbox One is releasing this week, whether you love it or hate it.
And tonight is the final episode of PMI 2.999. If you have any gods, you better start praying to them now.
Shh, I'm coming at you from behind the set of PMI 3.0 to let you know that this week's episode is sponsored by a cooking competition show coming to Upwave on HLN called Cook Your Ass Off. Woohoo, ass.
This is Cook Your Ass Off.
Celebrity chef Richard Blais hosts a cooking competition where incredible cooking and healthy food fight to coexist.
Everything I learned in culinary school has just gone out the window.
Dishing out the drama.
Man down!
The delicious.
Wow.
It's hosted by celebrity chef Richard Blais. He got 3 chefs competing for $50,000 by taking unhealthy meals and turning them into something nutritious. Cook Your Ass Off premieres on Sunday, December 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Upwave on HLN. Click the annotation to check it out and subscribe.
Today is Friday, November 22nd, 2013. Welcome to PMI.
Yeah, good job on that date, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you. This is the last episode of PMI 2.99999999999.
Whoa, everybody put your hands in the air. Touch your closest friend. Very sensually, and now just pray.
Now, does this mean that pretty much it, 3.0, is dropping next week?
Jake, you're a smart man. I always knew you were, and I really appreciate the fact that you brought that up because, yes, indeed, PMI 3.0 launches next week.
You're my best friend, Jake, always with that top-notch info.
I do have to say,
Hot off the press.
I will be traveling the third week into December, the second week into December, so we will actually have a Google Hangout sometime in December, but it's not 2.9 technically. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on the math here, so whatever.
I gotta say, I'm really excited to be able to be with you guys and touch you and shake your hands and laugh together.
We're so close. We're so close.
Well, we will be close once again.
Before we begin talking about this week's news, I do have to let you know that linked down in the info is a review at some point, maybe not while you're watching this now, but you can come back, a review of The Hunger Games Catching Fire. I will be leaving for Florida on Friday the 22nd. When you're watching this, I'm on my way, and so I'm going to see it with my family. I'm very, very excited, and I will review it as soon as I can. Also linked down in the info is our trailer segment, which is really, there's only one trailer. It's the Muppets movie trailer, but it's a great trailer, so definitely check it out so you can watch the trailer and see our thoughts, and that's that. But now, I don't know about you, but I say we get into the news, starting off with what movies are coming out this week. Boy, oh boy, I'm on the Monday show, aren't I? Why don't we talk about movie news instead? Hey, remember last week when we talked about Nightwing?
No.
Yeah. What about it, Eric?
Well, anyway, it turns out that Adam Driver has denied playing Nightwing, and it was in a video interview I watched. It seemed pretty genuine, but it just seems like, he says, not as far as I know. Does it mean it's not going to happen? I don't know. Maybe they're looking at him, but they haven't talked to him yet. I have no idea. But he said he's not going to do it, although he didn't put it down. He said, anybody would love to do that, so he'd be open to it, but I don't know.
He's playing a character named Nightwing with 2 G's at the end.
Yeah, it's his nickname, right, from high school.
Nicholas Wing.
Nicholas Wing, yeah, exactly. It's Nicholas Wing. So that was last week's big scoop, debunked right there in front of our eyes. But guess what? Speaking of big scoops, we have a massive scoop, the absolute biggest scoop about Star Wars Episode 7. Now, you guys know Star Wars Episode 7 coming out in 2015. We don't know a ton of details. We don't know who's coming back, who's returning. Is Harrison Ford coming back? I think he is. Is Mark Hamill coming back? We don't know. Well, guess what? I never saw this coming. I had no idea that this person was even being considered to come back. This character... It was officially confirmed that returning to the Star Wars universe in Star Wars Episode 7 is fan-favorite character, the host of the most, one of the greatest of all time. You know him and you love him. He is really steals your heart, captures the hearts of millions, R2-D2.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the dealer from the Phantom Menace, the flying elephant dealer man.
Oh, you're talking about Watto?
Watto, yeah.
Watto.
See, when you said fan favorite, loved by all, I thought you meant Watto, the main character of Watto.
Well, I mean, you'd think, but that's the surprise. That's what I love about Hollywood, always surprising you. You know what I mean?
It's like a punch right into the face, out of nowhere, and it's like an R2-D2 punch. I got punched. I'm like, wow.
But like in a good way.
In a good way.
Because I never expected R2-D2 to... All right, let's be serious here. This is the stupidest story. This was a story. How is this a story that R2-D2 it was a big deal or something apparently that R2-D2's in the movie. Obviously R2-D2's in the movie.
We're gonna see this more and more, I think. Like the way we see little tidbits about Batman that like we don't care about. The same with Star Wars. We're gonna hear this about every single thing about Star Wars.
Yeah, we're definitely going to, but it's a little disappointing in a way because they did this for the prequel series. Like, oh, we gotta have R2-D2 because everybody knows him.
Right. It doesn't make as much sense in the prequels as it would in the future.
It totally does.
R2-D2 didn't do anything in the prequels. They just had him like as just wacky.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Oh, we have to have a talk now.
Okay, let's have a discussion.
All right,
I didn't say anything, Jake, by the way. I didn't say anything. We're still cool.
Yeah, all right. Well, let me just say my piece, and then you react accordingly.
Okay.
If R2-D2 did not exist in the Star Wars universe, Star Wars wouldn't even be a thing.
I'm talking about the prequels. The prequels.
Yes, in the prequels. In Episode 1, R2, when Queen Amidala and her ship were escaping from Naboo and they were under fire from the Trade Federation, if it wasn't for R2 single-handedly saving the Naboo ship, restoring its shields, everyone on that ship would have died, and Star Wars wouldn't have happened.
Don't you think the ship should have been the ship did a lot more to help them escape?
No, because R2 fixed it.
All right, you know what?
It would have blown up.
I'll give you that. R2-D2.
He does this multiple times throughout the entire Star Wars.
But then that makes the story even stupider because if R2-D2 is such an important character, it's like stupid that was actually a big deal story this week. No shit, he's in the movie.
He's not a character. He's just a part. He's a tool.
One thing that's really cool is that, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this R2-D2 for Episode 7 and probably going forward, was actually built by two fans who just took it upon themselves to make R2-D2s throughout the years of conventions and stuff for people who paid them to do it. And so Kathleen Kennedy apparently saw it, and then they just brought them on. They jokingly were like, yeah, if you need us, let us know. And then they brought them on to do it, which is awesome.
That's great.
So that's cool. I think that's the story, in my opinion.
Now they have a job. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Obama, right? Now, Kathleen Kennedy should run the country. Speaking of R2-D2, 2 sequel, It's a Wonderful Life sequel.
Oh, in the sequel where he goes back in time to stop himself from going back in time.
Yes, exactly.
Like
it's basically like the span of a couple of minutes. You know?
Like he's trapped in a time loop that's only a couple minutes long. So imagine Groundhog Day condensed into like just a couple minutes.
So like source code.
For two, yes.
I'm sure you guys saw this and you were like, that's absolutely pathetic, right?
Not like, I wasn't like saying that's absolutely pathetic, because this is the kind of something that if they make a sequel for, it's like if they keep it tongue-in-cheek, it's forgivable.
I personally was like, you gotta be kidding me. But the good news is that it's not gonna happen because somebody forgot to check who owns the rights and Paramount does, and they said no.
Oh.
I don't know. I find like the original like nigh unwatchable.
You don't like it?
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna say.
It's just so annoying, like the way they speak. Like I would love to see an updated version where he's not running around going, "Oh, gee willikers, Merry Christmas, everybody." I'd rather see like a guy like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like I'd rather see like,
"Hey, how's it going?"
I'd rather see like
I can't believe it.
Paul Rudd, like, "Oh man, it's Christmas. Oh, what am I doing?
Oh man, I gotta go back in time. Oh no."
Yeah, you know. I know. I understand everything wrong with the entertainment industry manifested in one person's face.
So then, why don't we move on to something else that you're excited about? The Peter Pan prequel. Now, in case you guys forgot, last week, in case you didn't notice, which I didn't notice at the time, but I noticed in editing, when I said that there was a Peter Pan prequel coming out, Jake went, yes, yes. So here's the deal. Now, this is the only reason that I can maybe side with you a little bit on a possible interest. Apparently, offered the role of Blackbeard in this Peter Pan prequel. He would be like the villain, I guess. He's like the Scarecrow to the Joker if the Joker is Captain Hook. Okay. They offered it apparently, or they are offering it to Javier Bardem, which is cool.
Yo.
But the movie, I don't want to see it, so, you know.
No, yeah, how many times can you see the same thing done?
Well,
I don't want to grow up.
Like I said, 3 times, I guess, because Sony had a movie called Pan in the works, and I don't know if they're doing it anymore. This movie is called Pan, and then there's Peter and the Starcatcher.
You know
so
what's weird?
2 Pans and a Pete. What do you got?
Why is it that with every Broadway version of Peter Pan, he's a woman?
Because he has to be it's supposed to be a young boy. And so they get a woman with a very slender figure. Is that okay, Mike? It's 2013. We can do what we want.
No, I want a real boy. I want a real boy to swoop down and grant me
give you a kiss?
Give me a magical kiss wish and let me fly away with him and fight
sorry.
Javier Blackbeard Bardem.
Sorry, stage actor union requires that they can't have little boys. It must be women.
Speaking of little boys, thin little boys, supple little boys, healthy little boys. Ooh, am I getting creepy? I'm kind of being a creeper. Jeepers Creepers.
What? Another one?
Yes! The 3rd Jeepers Creepers. I think we might have talked about this at some point. Apparently they've already shot a day of they did a day of shooting. Already. This thing barely exists, and it's funny. It's really funny that I let in on like the pedophile thing because I'm pretty sure that the director of the first 1 or 2 movies actually went to jail for that.
He did.
So I actually didn't intend that, but it was actually probably the greatest transition of my life, of my career.
Man.
I saw the Jeepers Creepers movies, but I don't remember a thing about them.
I quite enjoy Jeepers Creepers.
So good. I love them.
The first one is very different, and then the second one is a little bit more sort of like, they're in one location and getting picked off one by one like any movie, but there's just something about it where they're on the bus, and then don't forget that opening scene in the field. I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah.
But I'm excited just because I do enjoy these movies, and I would like to see another one. So there you go.
Well, if it's not by the same director...
No, it's him. He's out. He's out.
I did my time.
And now he's getting real creepy back on Jeepers Creepers Part 3, based on his own life experiences, apparently.
I'm curious to see if they do like a tonal shift, because like the first one to the second one was like Saints Row 1 to Saints Row 4. Now,
interesting analogy.
I'm curious to see like if they just go even more balls to the walls, like ridiculous with this one.
Speaking of horror movies, we do have an interesting, quick little story about a horror movie that may be directed by Eli Roth, who I'm not a fan of personally, so that's not the draw.
Man,
yeah, I already don't give a shit.
The reason I am interested in this is because the writer of this horror movie is David O. Russell.
Oh, of a horror movie? Cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
Isn't that interesting?
What has he done?
Silver Linings Playbook, The Fighter.
Oh.
Yeah,
and then what's the new one coming out? American Hustle. So I'm excited about that. I mean, when I heard that, but I'd rather him direct it. I heard he wrote it, and I was like, that's cool. But then Eli Roth directing, it's like, I don't like Eli Roth's directing specifically.
Yeah, there's like a smugness that comes out of Eli Roth movies that kind of just like, no.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something weird about it. I don't know exactly what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I don't want to. But you know what? You know what I do want to put my finger on?
Me?
I
want to put my finger on 50 Shades of Grey.
Is it put your finger in 50?
Yes, I want to put my finger in 50 Shades of Grey is more like it. We have a story that is, I don't really understand how this is acceptable. I guess I do. I'm like thinking here. Okay, so apparently they're going to release an R-rated cut of 50 Shades of Grey followed by an NC-17 cut, which is porn.
What is the? I don't understand. Like from a business standpoint, like what? Why is that good for them? Like,
well, I guess because I think with the director, I think it was the director that said it. I mean, he doesn't get to choose this, obviously, but what he would like to happen is he'd like to, first of all, don't go near this guy because I have a feeling that whoever directs this movie's hands are usually moist. I just get that feeling. But what he said was that if they were to release an R-rated cut, people would be like, oh, I want to see more. And so then they go see the NC-17 cut, which, in case you don't know, can essentially be porn.
In all seriousness, though, I was hoping that I know this sounds like really stupid for me to rest this on this type of movie, but I was hoping that 50 Shades of Grey, the movie, would facilitate kind of like a upheaval of like movie ratings and stuff. Like I thought they were going to go for just NC-17, and people were going to flock to an NC-17 movie for the first time.
That is true, and then they would be able to see that there's a market for it.
Yeah.
There's obviously I don't understand the the notion that an NC-17 movie is doomed to failure, because last time I checked, there are a lot of people in this planet that are above the age of 17. I'm pretty sure anyone who would even consider seeing the 50 Shades of Grey movie is well aware of the content.
Right, exactly. It's not like you're bringing your grandmother and like for a grandmother-grandson outing.
Come on,
honestly,
Grandma.
no, my grandma read it, so I'm sure a lot of grandmas have read it. I'm not going to go with her.
All right, speaking of grandma, Grandma, G-R-A, wait a minute, Gravity, Gravity.
That was not one of your better segues, but you know what? I'll give you a little bit for trying.
Hey, thanks, pal. We have a quick little interesting story about Gravity. Jonas Cuarón, who of course is the son of Alfonso Cuarón, who is the director of Gravity, they co-wrote the movie together, which I think is awesome. And Jonas, Jonas made what? You thought they were brothers?
Yeah.
No.
You sure?
It's father and pop.
I'm positive.
That's bullshit.
It's a little close to home. I'm sorry about that, but we got to get through this story. He directed a short film. I guess he wrote and directed a short film that is basically, not to spoil anything, but there's a part in the movie where, you know, one character is contacting another character on Earth, and it's the other side of that conversation. You know what I mean? And so I think that's really interesting. I didn't get to check it out yet. I didn't have a chance to sit and watch it because it's like 9 minutes long. But I think it's a great idea, a great concept, and I can assume it's great. So I'm looking forward to watching it at some point.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was definitely the scene that they're connecting from Gravity was definitely my least favorite part of the movie.
Did this enhance it for you?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I don't know why they didn't show this part in the movie. I mean, I know it would have broken that kind of always in space.
The isolation, right.
But I feel that scene would have been a million times better if they showed like the other angle of the conversation. Because when I was watching it in the theater, I was like, no.
I don't care about it because I thought Gravity was okay.
Okay, well that's the opinion we wanted to hear.
Hashtag JK.
But that's it for movie news. Now, we do have a story that I did not know where to put exactly, because it could be about movies or TV, but I guess it really is more about live shows. We have, I don't know if you guys heard, but Monty Python is reuniting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
Pretty crazy.
Yes. Obviously the living members, because not all of them are still alive.
John Cleese is still alive, right?
Show, it's going to be apparently, I guess it's going to be in London, at the O2 Arena, right? That's in London?
Yeah, that's a big...
I think they're doing it there. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody out there.
Okay.
But they will be doing it. It's going to be a live show. They don't know if they're going to tour or what. I think they want to tour.
Stadium.
But that's all we've got. That's all we've got is that it's going to be a mix of old and new, mostly old apparently, with some new stuff. But I mean, I think that's pretty cool for Monty Python fans. It's nice to know that they're still down to get dirty.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to play to a 2013 audience, because this is like Monty Python humor is like of a bygone era now. Like, kids are not going to get it, like what the Monty Python is. I mean, like, even me, I only enjoyed his movies, like all of the movies he made. I didn't like anything else. All the plays and the TV show, I didn't like it. But like, if they can kind of recreate the humor they had in his movies, that'd be amazing.
Well, keep in mind, Spam-A-Lot was on Broadway just recently and did very well. It's not on Broadway anymore, I don't think, but it did very well.
I never got a chance to see that.
There's a good chance that this will be big. But you know what? It doesn't matter because Monty Python fans are excited, I'm sure, and that's really all that matters to Monty Python, I'm pretty sure as well. But that's it for Monty Python news. That's a new segment on the show. Now let's talk about some TV news. We've got some news about The Walking Dead. We talked about the fact that there's going to be a spin-off, correct? I think we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now we know that it's not confirmed, but it's apparently going to be a prequel to the current Walking Dead, which I forget if we said that we would want that or not.
No, I think it's a really terrible idea. It wouldn't even be Walking Dead at this point. I think the only way that they could have done like a separate Walking Dead story, adjacent to the main plot and cast of characters, was the Telltale video game. I don't think they're going to get any better than that. There's no point.
I was going to say, is there any reason to tell other stories? Because they've got the video game telling other stories.
I think yes, just because only if they do it like the Telltale video game. Like it was completely separate, yet it had similar themes. It tackled a lot of the same type of issues, and it just kind of had the same pillars.
And just another thing that just made it stand out was it was just a very good story and a cast of characters. And if you're gonna make a prequel spin-off show about The Walking Dead, it's just going to be a zombie show. Like, why is it The Walking Dead? Why call it The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I see it more as just a zombie show to capitalize on the popularity of zombies.
Right. Yeah, I mean, apparently it would show, like, you know, the outbreak, more humans than zombies, rather than, you know, what Walking Dead is, more zombies than humans.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't watch the show, so I really don't have a stake in this. But so you're not really feeling the prequel concept?
That sounds more like it should have been an episode, maybe a single episode of The Walking Dead.
Which could have been a cool episode. Yeah, it reminds me of like the beginning of I Am Legend, or not the beginning of I Am Legend, but when they do like that little flashback and show you before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was only 10 minutes though. That wasn't a whole movie.
They've done it. On The Walking Dead, they have shown flashbacks to when the outbreaks first happened. So. Oh
boy. Well, welcome to Plot Hole City. Population 0. I don't know.
They fit that on the whole sign?
Yep. But that's it for TV news. That's it for movie news. That's it for Monty Python news. Why don't we move on to the video game news? But before we do that, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Oh!
Hey guys, welcome back to Pretty Much It. I hope you enjoyed that commercial, because now it's time to talk about video games. Are you guys ready, my friends?
I'm ready.
I'm ready to be delivered by you.
I'm ready.
I am the delivery man.
Hey, I get it, Vince Vaughn. I'm not gonna get a chance to see that movie this weekend. Thanks for bringing it up,
asshole. Check it out in your local theater. Vince Vaughn starring in The Delivery Man, coming in theaters November Thanksgiving.
Look what's happening to Vince Vaughn now!
You're telling me I fathered 500 kids?
And now I have to go work at Google?
So there's not a lot of stuff going on this week for video games, again, because last week we had the PS4 come out, now we're having the Xbox One come out. So
that's not a big deal?
Well, it is a big deal, but other than that, nobody wants to have any news, because that's the news.
I understand, that makes sense.
It's fitting for us to talk about the PlayStation 4. Recently it was revealed. I think this is interesting. I like seeing stuff like this, especially with like iPhones and computers and phones and stuff. The breakdown cost of how much the parts cost to build said thing. With the PS4, apparently it costs $381 to build it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's actually under cost.
Really cool.
It's $399 for the PS4, and it's interesting because the PlayStation 3, they were selling for like $600, and it cost them like $800 to manufacture an individual one initially.
I was gonna say, I hate like buying expensive technology and then figuring out it costs like $10 to put together.
Yeah. The most interesting thing about like this whole thing is that it costs, I think, I think it's $18 for the controller. Like you're holding an $18 piece of crap in your hand. That's what I feel like now. I'm like, oh, it only costs $18 for this advanced technological controller.
How much does a controller cost on its own?
Like
$60?
$60.
Yeah, okay.
Controllers are always expensive.
Other interesting things. It has like a $37 hard drive in it. It's a Seagate hard drive. Seagate's pretty top of the line. That's cool to know. And,
right, because they get them in bulk, of course.
Yeah, of course. Other than that, though, I mean, these numbers don't factor in like other things like manufacturing, the marketing, the packaging, stuff like that. But just the hardware itself. So this is interesting, and I really can't wait to see how this compares to the Xbox One as well, which I'm sure we'll find out soon when someone.
Yeah, watch it costs $100 less to make, but it costs $100 more to buy.
LOL.
You know what's really interesting I have to say about the whole Xbox PS4? But it's a good way to bridge this conversation. I was watching TV yesterday night. It was the South Park episode where they're doing the whole console war things right now. The joke is the PS4 or Xbox. And right as the episode started, I'm like, I wonder how many commercials I'll see for the different consoles. All Xbox. Every commercial was Xbox, nothing from Sony.
Interesting.
Microsoft is like trying their best right now to be on top of the TV media. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the funny thing is, parallel to that, you go into like a GameStop or something like that. Every person in GameStop has a PlayStation 4 shirt. There's PlayStation signs everywhere, and Xbox has like a little thing.
Interesting.
Where they choose to spend their money in advertising and promotion and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll
Apparently-
see how it works. We'll see who does better. I'll tell you what, the only thing I've seen was on Fallon. They had last week a PS4 demo, this week an Xbox One demo, and I thought the PS4 demo was much, much more entertaining. It's much more memorable. The Xbox One demo was boring as hell. So
Well, you're a Sony fanboy.
That's how they got to my brain. You know what I mean? I didn't see a TV commercial. I didn't go to GameStop. That's how they got to me, and PS4 won that one by a landslide. So
It's
There
very
you go.
I'm still definitely getting PS4 first. There's no doubt.
Well, I have
Jake's got one already.
PS4. I'm probably gonna have Xbox One, and it'll be interesting. Like people I know who have been using both already say that they gravitate towards Xbox One just because of its media centricity. But if you're not into that, then I mean, I guess PS4 is for you. That's
Yeah,
kind of
like with the console wars. The console wars this time is very different than last generation because this time it's like both consoles are very much the same. It's
They're both
about
pretty
like what.
sweet.
Yeah, it's about what appeals to you as a person as to what you're going to buy. It's like they both got the same graphics, but Xbox does TV, PS4 does something else. So it's all about what do I like?
I think the big takeaway here, though, is that ladies, Jake has both consoles, so you know where you want to spend your Saturday nights.
You know
Now let's
who
move
wants
on to
to
the poll.
father your child.
Let's move on to the poll question. Last week's poll question was, what is your favorite PS4 feature? Now, in third place we have the number, very cute. In second place we have the touchpad controller, which I think is cool myself. I haven't played with it, but it does seem cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
And the number one favorite feature is that it's not an Xbox One.
I think Jake is frozen.
I'm right here. I was just.
He's just really stuck in thought.
Number 2 is the best. The touchpad, I think that is the most exciting thing for me. That's what I'm most.
It's the only legitimate response.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, is that your favorite PS4 feature then, the touchpad? Because that is something that Xbox does not have.
As of right now, it's one of my most favorite things that I'm looking forward to what it can do in the future.
Okay.
I would say it might not count though because the Xbox can do it too. The thing I'm most excited about is the integration with like tablets and smartphones. I think that's super cool.
How about the streaming?
And I think the streaming will be we'll have to see.
Well,
Could be a disaster.
Streaming is already really taking off on PS4, and I've been using it. It's fun. It's intuitive. It's cool.
But watch out if you upload footage to YouTube.
Why is that?
Because
And
apparently Sony's claiming it left and right.
and Xbox One. We should have talked about this on the news portion, but Xbox One will not have Twitch streaming support right out of the gate. That's something they're still working on. It'll be a software thing later on.
Yeah, that being said, that was last week's poll question, but this week's poll question, as you can guess, with the release of the Xbox One, what is your favorite Xbox One feature? Let us know by clicking the link in the info to go to facebook.com/prettymuchit and vote in the poll. But that is it for this week's episode of Pretty Much It. Don't forget to check us out talking about the trailer, the Muppets trailer. Click the link in the info for that. I am very excited for PMI 3.0 next week. I hope you guys are too. Thank you for bearing with us on 2.99999, but the wait is over, and
You shouldn't run in your house, Eric. You shouldn't do that. I hear noises, stuff.
Jake, you okay?
What are you?
What are you doing in my house? And that's pretty much it! They're gonna be so angry, like, why didn't you do it together? Because f*** you, and that's fine.